Welcome to In the News with Double O Des. I'm Des Bernardo, giving you my perspective on news from South Africa and the rest of the world.
Good morning, it's Thursday the 11th of June, and in the news this morning I bring you a case from the Cape Town High Court, where most of you will remember the case around the Strandfontein camp that was set up by the City of Cape Town for the homeless people of Cape Town. They were all moved there, and there were huge concerns around their safety and protection. There's many riots that took place there. There was a rape that was reported within the camp, and it seemed like a complete shambles. And many people went to the camp, actually spoke to people inside the camp at the fence. It looked like a concentration camp, to be honest. And these people were spreading this news all over social media of the people inside the camp complaining that there was no social distancing, the people were on top of each other, and that the City of Cape Town was not concerned about their safety at all. And people that used to feed a lot of these homeless people were concerned for them and wanted to take action. They wanted to visit the camp and actually go and film and see what's happening inside there. And the City of Cape Town decided that they wanted to stop them, and they proceeded to get an interdict against people from entering the camp to inspect it. Now, this is unprecedented, and in this case in the High Court, the City of Cape Town was basically taken to court and taken to task for this. So the headline, and there's many stories on this, I decided to take the one from Ground Up, which is a community organization that has been tackling things that the City of Cape Town has been doing that are completely, in my mind, unconstitutional. Shows their lack of consideration and understanding for people on the ground, and that everyone is a human being, someone with a name. It doesn't matter whether you're living on the street and you've been failed by your community and by your government. And the headline reads, "Judgment on Strandfontein camp case reserved." Now, I know that Strandfontein is probably the best example of gross human rights violations. And this is the DA-run City of Cape Town doing this. And I mean, I say this because I was a member of the DA for almost 4 years. I actively took part in their campaigns. I donated money to them. I donated equipment to them. Hundreds of thousands of rands worth of equipment, in fact, for events that were held. And I did that gladly. Worked with many of the people in the Democratic Alliance, wonderful people, and realized how the system that they captured in traps them because of money and people trying to survive. And that's why the system has to change. But let's carry on with the article. The City of Cape Town and SAHRC dispute legal costs. Okay, some of the SA Human Rights Commission monitors are outside the Western Cape High Court, and they've got a picture there in the article, and I always put the link for the article in the details and description underneath the video, so you can go and look at it there and read the article for yourself. An interdict was obtained by the City of Cape Town preventing the Human Rights Commission and others monitoring conditions in the Strandfontein homeless camp. Now, this is unprecedented for the City of Cape Town to get an interdict to stop people looking at human rights abuses from entering a camp. That's absolute madness. The interdict was challenged in court, and this is what happened now. The respondents say the action is an unprecedented attack on the powers of the Human Rights Commission, which are guaranteed in the Constitution. So, this is the Democratic Alliance doing what the ANC is doing to us nationwide now. But they have more up their sleeve. That's why I'm saying there's no difference between the official opposition and the ruling party. All they can try and claim is that their service delivery is better than that of the ANC, otherwise they're exactly the same. Meanwhile, the camp has been closed, but the parties are disputing who should pay legal costs in this case. So basically there's no reason for the case anymore, because the City of Cape Town just decided to close the camp down, which actually proves that it was a huge mess. Judgment has been reserved. But if you look at this case, it shows you again how this party system has failed us. And it doesn't matter how good the people are that enter these political parties. They will be corrupted inside the party, either for one, because they need an income, two, because they need to be buddy-buddy with others to remain in the clique that keeps you within the party, three, to be able to get illicit gains through contracts and tenders and many other things, gifts. I know of people that worked for the city of Cape Town that have said that they've had to go and deliver gifts all over the place to various people. Fridge, washing machines, money, cash. So if you think that any political party in the current system will run a clean government, you're mistaken, sadly mistaken. And I have so much evidence that I will produce. And there's nothing that anyone in any party can do to stop me, because I'm speaking the truth. You see, this is the key. If you want to expose something, speak the truth. When you speak the truth, nothing can be done to you, except that you are removed because you are a threat to those people. And a person can be removed in many ways, silenced in many ways. You can be economically isolated. You don't have to be killed. But I am ready for that. I have removed all dependency that I have on anyone so that I can do what I'm doing now. I am not dependent on any of those people for any income. So they can't do anything to me financially. I fear them not. Judgment in the case between the City of Cape Town and the South African Human Rights Commission and 10 others in the Western Cape High Court has been reserved by Justice Sir Raj Desai until after 15th of June. This is pending submissions from the Council for the SAHRC and Dr. Giles van Kutsum of Medicine Sans Frontiers. It's obviously a French concern, due on the 14th of June, and the city's reply to the submissions due on the 15th of June. The case centers on the interdict granted to the city against the SAHRC, its commissioner and CEO, and people appointed by the SAHRC to act as human rights monitors, which included Dr. van Kutsum of MSF. The interdict prevented all except SAHRC Commissioner Chris Nissen from going to the Strandfontein camp for homeless people. So they would only allow one person into the camp. The city said the SAHRC and its monitors had disrupted the camp, spread misinformation and lies in public, and breached lockdown regulations. Well, that entire camp was a lockdown violation. The entire camp. And I know the people responsible for setting up that camp. They are amateurs. They are career DA politicians. These people need to be removed. If you know who are the Mako or the mini mayors of Cape Town, you will die when you understand who these people are, what their capabilities are, or lack of capabilities. It is shocking that these people are running the city, and they need to be removed as soon as possible. This is a matter of urgency. The Chapter 9 institutions, of which the SAHRC is one, are specifically mentioned in the lockdown regulations as being essential services. So when they are essential services, you cannot stop them from scrutinizing what you're doing. The city cannot decide that they are spreading misinformation. They can take the misinformation to court. But to go and get an interdict, it's easy to get an interdict against someone. Easy. There's very few things to be considered, and there's no judgment in an interdict. You ask for one and you get one, if there's probable cause. The city said it would not proceed with the interdict because the Strandfontein camp had closed in the meantime, but the question of legal costs still had to be settled. The city wanted each party to settle its own cost, but the respondents wanted the city to pay. The case had been postponed by Judge Desai on two occasions, 14th of May and 20th of May. The camp closed on the 21st of May. So this court case obviously had a huge impact on what ended up happening with regards to the camp, which they just closed down. And you know, when you open a camp like that, force all the people into the camp, the people complain, and I've seen the videos from those camps, taken by people. I could hear the interviews. The people in the camp, I could see the conditions. It was a concentration camp. A concentration camp. Like they had back in the day when the English decided to snuff out all the Boers on the farms. And the way to do that is they burned down their farmhouses. And they got the men to come back. They put women and children in concentration camps, and the men were captured when they tried to free the women and children. The city, represented by advocates Renata Williams and Mushahida Adakari, argued that the city had no choice but to seek an interdict against the SAHRC and the others, and that in any case Nissen could still visit the site in spite of the interdict. Okay, that is one person. Though that's not the experts that the SAHRC uses to do inspections. The SAHRC and 9 of the 10 respondents, represented by advocates Norman Arendse and Sheldon Magardi, and instructed by the Legal Resource Centre, replied that the city's interdict was an unprecedented attack on the constitutionally guaranteed monitoring powers of the SAHRC. So as I've attacked the ruling party before on them not understanding the constitution, there you have evidence that the official opposition have no idea what the constitution is about. They are all about power, and I've seen this with my own eyes. People only caring about power. The infighting within the Democratic Alliance was unbelievable. How the people plotted and schemed against each other is I can do an entire channel just on that alone. That's why I don't want to fight with anyone in any party. The system needs to change so that good people can remove themselves from the current system and maybe apply themselves or try and be elected directly. Most of them stand no chance. They need a party, they need a gang to get themselves elected and earn fat salaries. That's the bottom line, basically. They said the city's interdict was an attempt to avoid accountability and was irrational, as it named people who had never visited the site, such as the Gauteng-based CEO of the SAHRC. So what they're saying is that the city in the interdict, that they were talking nonsense because they were referring to people that hadn't even visited the site. Counsel for Van Cutsem asked the city to retract statements made against his client, which they had repeated during the hearing, arguing that the city had attacked Van Cutsem's professional standing. The city declined to retract the statements. Now, the one thing you learn about the DA is that those people are arrogant, immensely arrogant. They do not easily give up on their actions or apologize for anything. And it borders on psychosis in many cases. And people need to get out of that mentality. I am glad I left in 2017. My wife left before me. She worked for the city council. She has been fighting the influences on these parties ever since. She has made it a full-time life mission. And I have followed her. She convinced me that this is what we need to do. And I would encourage you to please follow her. You can follow her on her YouTube channel, which she has started. She will start to do videos to show what the solution should be. You can follow on Lauren Evanthia and see what she's been up to, trying to first tackle saving our kids at school with indoctrination that especially the Democratic Alliance now, with their transgender government gazette, and on which I did a video before, and the ruling party who wants to implement, and supported by the other parties except for the ACDP, to implement this comprehensive sexuality education in school. These people are not our friends. And I will expose all of these things. But go and subscribe to Lauren Evanthia. You will see on my channel, if you go to my main channel, you will see on the right hand side that there's 3 other channels mentioned there. You can go and have a look at those and see what those people do to try and change the political system in the country. To get back to the article, Counsel for Van Cutsem asked the city to retract their statements and they refused to retract. This is how arrogant they are. In a statement on Wednesday, Executive Mayor Dan Plato, which is just another political appointee, and remember, this person is appointed because he will toe the party line. He's not appointed because he will fight for you and me. And that is why the system is flawed. That's why we need to elect individuals. Do you think Dan Plato will be elected as an individual? He stands absolutely no chance. You can, in fact, Alan Windy, I can keep on mentioning them. Think about it. If any of those people had to stand as an individual, I will tell you now, they stand no chance. zero chance of succeeding. Because they don't have what it takes, not even slightly, not even close. I still have to meet a politician. Most of those that would be elected directly, that I have met, that would stand independently, have gone overseas. They all need the backing of a party which is funded by your and my money. They are funded by us. This needs to stop. It's madness. The city further said that when it attempts to engage the commissioner, its attempts to engage the commissioner failed, it was obligated to approach the court for relief. Interim relief was granted to the city in May 2020, preventing the monitors from continuing with their unlawful conduct at the shelter. So this was what the city was saying, that what they were doing was illegal, to actually monitor what's going on. This was necessary and never intended to interfere with the legislation governing the SAHRC, it said. So this is the city's arguments. Now the first thing I want you to understand, and I want you to start studying, and I will expose this in many of my videos, is that these people are just looking out for their careers, for nothing else. I've seen it firsthand. I've seen the bickering and bartering amongst each other. I have seen the electioneering amongst each other. I have seen how they go about undermining each other within their own party for position. There's much worse that happens for position, by the way. And I will expose all. So everyone that knows me, that is still involved in the DA, earning that nice salary because you are aligned to people that wants to buy the minds of our children through UN and UNESCO agendas and taking the most vile ideas in the world and enforcing it into our government schools. Your time is up. It's finished. It's over. If you want to become a part of the new system, resign now and fight for individual election, and you might stand a chance.